So hi everyone, it's Jordan right back here, and in this video we are going to be looking at a downtrend line. Okay, we are continuing our series about the trend lines. We already saw the videos about uptrend line. So in the downtrend line, we connect two major resistance zones on a clear downtrend. So you can see right here we have connected 1 point, 2, 3, and then 4. So that is what confirms a downtrend line. If we can connect 2 to 3 points, we are good to go. Okay. So we already said that trend lines are probably the most common form of technical analysis in forex trading, and they are probably one of the most underutilized ones as well. If drawn correctly, they can be as accurate as any other method, and unfortunately, forex traders don't draw them correctly, or they try to make the lines fit the market instead of the other way around. So to draw forex trend lines properly, all you have to do is to locate two major tops or two major bottoms. So for example, here in the downtrend line, if the price is on a clear downtrend, we would just be in need of connecting two major resistance zones. Okay. So a downtrend line is drawn along the bottom of easily identifiable resistance areas, and this is known as a descending trend line also. So we can trade using the bounce setup strategy, the counter trend trade strategy, or the breakout strategy, or the break and retest strategy. So in the downtrend line, we already saw that the downtrend line, the market is having a downtrend, and then we connect two major resistance zones. So if we connect more than two resistance zones, that trend line becomes clearly confirmed and strong. So you can see that here we have the first point, then the first point that confirms the trend line. So here it becomes strong, and the more it tests on the trend line, the stronger it becomes. So we say that we can trade using the bounce setup strategy, whereby we wait for the price to bounce off this trend line, and then we make short trades. Or if not that, what we do is to trade the breakout strategy, whereby the market is on a downtrend, it comes and breaks out of this trend line, and we make a buy trade. Or we wait for the market to come, break out, test on the trend line, and then we'll be able to make our buy entry point. So we are going to be seeing all these strategies. So the breakout strategy and the bounce setup strategy here, it would look something like this. So we have your trend line. Okay. So for example, here you have your trend line. So on the bounce setup strategy, what we do is to wait for the market to bounce off the trend line and then forms a candlestick pattern, and then we could be able to make trades. So for example, right here and then right here. So here you have the three black crows. This is a candlestick pattern which is very sure. You could make a short trade from here, and your target point is this previous swing low. Okay, so even right here you can see the market came and touched on this trend line a little. So it is not a must for it to touch correctly on it to come and pierce through the line. No. So you have a bearish engulfing, so you could make a short trade and you catch this previous swing low. Okay, so if there is no any other point of entry, don't force it. So for example, right here, the clear entry is not there because the retracement looks to be very small. But here, the retracement looks to be a good one. Even here, the retracement looks to be a good one. So that is how we trade the bounce setup strategy. Number one, if the market is on a clear downtrend, okay, so we connect these 2 points. So we wait for the market to come back and test on this point, create a candlestick pattern. So here we could make our short trade and target this swing low. Wait for the market to go back, then make a candlestick pattern, then we could be able to trade back. So the counter trend trade strategy is whereby wait for the market. After it has retraced far from this trend line, we expect that the market is going to go back and retest on the trend line. So for example, right here we have a big bullish candle, so we could make our counter trend trade and then be able to catch some pips back. So what happens is that if you have a downtrend and then you have this trend line, we expect that the market, after breaking this level of support, it has to go back onto the level of resistance. So that is when we make, if you have a clear a bullish candlestick pattern, you can make a buy up to the trend line and then make a sell again. Okay. So on the breakout strategy, we just wait for the market to break the trend line and then we can be able to make a buy order. So for example, on this trend line, we could be able to make a buy entry from around here because this is a candle which closed entirely out of this trend line. So wait for a trend line after it has been broken. Okay, we wait for a candle that closes entirely above the trend line. If the candle is crossing through the trend line like this, we do not make an order because this could be a market fluctuation, and after buying, the market goes back rapidly. So what we do, we wait for a candle that closes entirely above, for example, this blue candle, so we could make our buy order from there and then be able to catch the wave up. So on the breakout strategy, wait for the candle that closes entirely above the trend line, and then on that point, we could be able to make a buy entry. Okay. So we are going to be looking at the break and retest strategy. On the break and retest strategy, we wait for the market to break out of the trend line, then test on that trend line, and then we could be able to make a trade. So in the other strategy, we saw the bounce setup. So for example, here we could use our bounce setup, market tests the trend line, and then creates clear bearish candles. So we could be able to catch wave down. It tests, makes bearish candles. So we could be able to catch a wave down. So in the breakout strategy, we said candles close above the trend line, and then we make a buy. So for the breakout strategy, what we do is wait for the market. If this is our trend line, if it is broken, wait for a retest, and then we catch a wave up. So here the trend line was broken, then retested. So we could put our buy entry point around here and then put our stop loss. So in recap, if we are going to trade the downtrend line, number one, we have to connect two levels of resistance which are major within this downtrend. Okay. So here, for example, you could see that we could join those points. After joining them, we agreed that we trade using the bounce setup strategy, whereby the market comes, tests on the trend line, creates a candlestick pattern, we catch the wave down. Test on the trend line, creates a candlestick pattern, we catch the wave down. Test the trend line, candlestick pattern, we catch the wave down. So we wait for a breakout strategy, whereby the market breaks the trend line, and we don't wait for a retest, but we just make a buy order. Or sometimes we wait for a retest followed by a candlestick pattern, and then we'll be able to catch the wave up. Okay, so those are the three major ways. Or we can make a counter trend trade whereby the market retraces far from the trend line. For example, right here you can see that the market retraces far from the trend line, so we could be able to make buy points. So for example, right here we could make a buy order expecting the market to go back onto the trend line, but that is quite tricky. Okay, so that is how we trade using these downtrend lines, and then we said that after connecting these levels of resistance, okay, the more the trend line is tested, the stronger it becomes, and when a strong trend line is broken, we get a big move up or in the opposite direction of that market. And then we also said in the breakout strategy, we have to wait for the candle that closes entirely above the trend line. So for example, here this blue candle, we could make the buy trade and wait to catch the wave up. And then the other issue is we have to use limit orders. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see in the next videos to come. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and for support. Thank you so much. Bye bye.